World of Tank Blitz, Armoured Pants here. Have another review for you, Type 64, which is in the shops now. So let's have a look at the technical specification first for you nerds, because you love that stuff. I guess what we could describe this tank as a bit is Frankenstein's monster, because it's made up of bits and pieces of other tanks actually. It is a Hellcat turret. It is the chassis of an M42 anti-aircraft vehicle, and it is an M1A2 gun, which was a gun prevalent within the United States military. And it has something in common with my first dildo and my mate's new Dial Bride, all made in Taiwan. So, as you can see. So, what about this tank? Well, first thing I would say to you is don't get this tank unless you're a relatively experienced player. And are good on light or medium tanks, because if you are not, you will suffer. So don't just buy it because it's a premium and you think, oh, I like to get premium tanks. You really need to be experienced and be good on light tanks. The main reason being that this tank has no armor whatsoever. It's the original origami tank. Everything is going to penetrate it. It's a shell magnet, and therefore it's unforgiving. It's also so fast that while you can get yourself out of trouble, you can equally get yourself into trouble very quickly. And when you have no armor whatsoever, and you can be one-shotted by, for example, a KV-2 or maybe even a Psi 100Y, you really need to be very careful. So that's my first thing I would say to you. When you look here at the armor profile, you will see that it's virtually non-existent unless you were to be hit in the cupola, in the turret, then you are really going to be in trouble. It's almost impossible to create angles, anything at all. So you can see that even on the lower tiers, even if you're top tier, you're still going to get penetrated. And if you're up tiered, you really need to be very careful. That said, what are the advantages of this tank? It's extremely fast. It has great maneuverability, great traverse. It is very terrain friendly. It's going to be great in circle of death. So it's good for peekaboo, hit and run, 1v1 brawl. Well, if you get around if you get close in on a heavy tank, you're going to do really well. Circle of death, no problem. And it says here long range sniping, not so good, but actually if you run calibrated shells on it, then long range sniping will work. Now, speaking of calibrated shells, it takes me to the gun. The gun is only 76mm, so on a tier 6 it's not great and you're going to struggle. So therefore I run calibrated shells on it, and I think I would suggest you do too. Otherwise you're going to suffer because the pen on it is very low. So I would suggest that you run calibrated shells. And that will serve you much better, I think. It also is it has pretty good rate of fire, so even on the calibrated shells, your reload is going to be pretty acceptable. As you can see now, I'm struggling with typing left again. I don't know whatever way the keyboard is on my phone. I always end up typing LWFT. Maybe Luftwaffe. Let's go Luftwaffe. So as you can see, 6-second reload, even running the calibrated shells. And what I decided to do is here, go up here and try to spot. It's a nice parking job there. Insurance company won't be too happy with that. I'm just gonna, now even though I said it will absorb shells, the turret has awkward angles on it like the Hellcat, so you may bounce some shots in it. So that's why I'm just jiggling about here with the turret, see what I can do. And as I've always said in many of the videos before, just rock back and forwards in your tank. Makes it extremely difficult for the others to hit you and increases the chances of getting a bounce. Plus, if there's a big heavy or something that has you lined up, and they have longer aiming time, so the more you wiggle and jiggle, the less chance they have of getting a clean shot on you. So I made a mistake there. I actually thought that was the KV-1's body, but actually it was the hull of our AMX that went too far forward and got smashed. As you can see, the gun will penetrate from distance, especially if you're running calibrated shells, and I also was running a refiled gun on it, and you can see there it is pretty accurate. So like but we do know that this American gun is accurate from playing it on other tanks. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of making it difficult for them to push up. They would like to push all their heavy armor up onto our left flank, their right hand side. and I'm making it difficult because I've got this elevated position where I'm able to put a lot of shots into them. I'm making them fluff a lot of shots by rocking back and forward. The tank is fast; it's fast forward and fast backwards, so that gives you a good advantage in this sort of situation here. So I've got a lot of guns aimed at me. I'm taking up a lot of their attention. I'm like the best looking girl at the dance, Jesus, how old am I? At the, I was going to say disco, no, that also is too old. I'm like the best looking girl on Tinder, yeah. So yeah, so I'm not swipe right, yeah, swipe left, whatever the fuck it is, I don't know, I remember that on Tinder. So yeah, so this tank is, anyway, the point is I get a lot of attention, right, so just leave it at that. As you can see, the gun is pretty good even for snapshots. I just took out the SU-85 there. And by me taking up this position here, I really am causing them all sorts of trouble. Now, some people might say to you, oh, you know, you're camping, you're doing this, you're doing that. Anytime that you're inflicting damage on the enemy, anytime that you're causing them to focus on you rather than your allies, anytime that you're holding a position, you are not camping. Or maybe you are camping, but I mean, you're actually doing a very good job. As you can see, I am here for the team. I've taken a couple of hits, but the damage that I've doled out in doing that is significant, and I've really helped my team. Now we're still, even with that, we're still 2 tanks down now. A tank down now. We've evened it up, so both on 5 tanks each. Now I decided to move now because I don't have any more targets there, and I just need to support. I'm going to support my teammate here. He's in the KV1. He's up against the KV1S. And he's up against KV1, so I decide, the AMX, so he needs some help. I take one there, but I really wanted to get rid of this KV1 and try to clear this corridor here so that we can actually sort of hold this flank, because otherwise they're going to push around on us, and if the 2 of us get taken out, then, you know, it's game over. So basically I'm using the tank's maneuverability to try to get in shots, you know, focusing on the lack of ammo. And compensating that with the tank's maneuverability. The KV1, if he was a better teammate, would allow me to use his armor to get some more shots on, because he's a lot more health than me and he's a lot better armor profile, but he's just staying put. But nonetheless, we're able to get in a few shots and clear that KV1. This was the one I really wanted to clear because he was the big danger. He's a big gun, and he can do lots of damage. And now we get into sort of a duel with this KV1. If he was sensible, I think he should have pushed on around the corner and left me with nowhere to hide. But by giving me these rocks in front of me, it allows me to get into sort of a duel with him. Where if it was one-on-one, it wouldn't really be fair. So I am now going to come in here and see if I can get a shot on him, and I do. There's a nice sneaky shot which he wasn't expecting. And again, you see the maneuverability of this tank, and most tanks you wouldn't be able to get up and down that rock face like that. Now I have a free shot on him because he just took one, and we clear him. Now it's 2 tanks each, and it's still touch and go because it's just me and this KV1 left, and I know that he hasn't really been helping too much. What I'm going to try to do now is use him as sort of a blocker for me. So if I can use like American football termination, the boys blocker. So coming down the end zone here, and we are coming into the end zone actually because this game is almost over, but it is touch and go. I mean, the AMX can take me out and him out with a full clip, so and he's maneuvering up to come into position. What I'm going to try to do is take out this soy, because I don't know where the AMX is. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm worried about the AMX flanking because he is very fast. If he comes around behind that KV, you can take him out with 2 shots, maybe even 1, and then take me out with the last one. So he would need to get good rolls, but it is possible in his 3 load clip to take us all out. So I'm trying to hold this flank here, and I'm just telling this guy to wait. We don't know where that soy is. We're 1 shot for him. Both of us are 1 shot for him. And now he's spotted, so we're going to see what we can do. I'm going to see if we can get a shot on him. But I have to be very careful because it doesn't matter what round he fires at me, it's going to go through me and take me out. And I have no chance of bouncing it or anything. So, okay, now he's not looking at me, which is great. So I got 1 shot into him there, and then I'm going to. Now that the AMX is here, now this is dangerous because we're caught both sides. So the soy is coming. But I decided I need to take this AMX out because I can't let him get behind us, and before the soy gets in front of us, really just need to take this guy out. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk taking one shot from him, see if I can survive. And driving into the wall didn't help. And yeah, I just got him on the aiming time there because I pre-aimed the gun by pointing it around the corner before I came around the corner. So now it's just a soy left. He's coming onto the KV1, and at least I know where he is, and I have a good feeling that I come around behind him to face onto the KV1. Yes, there we go, and then last round, last kill. So there you go, over 3k damage and 5 kills. So it's a pretty good game. But as I said to you guys, you know, and girls, sorry, let's not be, raise the age of equality. You know, in this tank, you do need to be cognizant of the fact that it is not forgiving. And while its speed is its great asset, its speed can also get you into trouble if you go off on your own. Try to spot or whatever and get cornered, especially if the other team has a lot of mediums that actually have some armor. They'll smash you, you can get rammed. They're pretty vulnerable, so just be careful on with that. But if you are experienced, you know, you're good with light tanks or medium tanks, then this is a great tank. You'll enjoy it. It's an unusual tank, so it's a nice collector's item for you to have in your garage. So, but that's up to you. What do you think? You know, I mean, it is a tank for those who love lights, but you have to be experienced. If you're not experienced, don't get it, because it will really disappoint you, and you'll get very frustrated playing it. So there you go. I hope you liked it. The music there on Her Majesty's Secret Service from the movie of the same name, James Bond. James Bond. So this is Punch, Armored Punch, shining off. Okay, take care, subscribe, follow, all that shit. Alright, take care. See you now. Bye.